turtles are notoriously slow-moving creatures, that is, unless they have the skills of a ninja. This is the mythology of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were created by Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. What began as a joke turned into a worldwide phenomenon which would change both of their lives. They were inspired by several comic book sources: The New Mutants, which featured teenage main characters; Cerebrus the Aardvark, which used an anthropomorphic aardvark as its main character; and they fused these influences with the dark and gritty ninja battles of Frank Miller's work, such as his samurai tale Ronin, and most notably his work on Daredevil. It began when Kevin Eastman drew a picture of a turtle with nunchucks strapped to his arm and showed it to his friend Peter Laird. It was just a joke, a fun play on the idea of taking the slowest animal in the world and giving him ninja skills. Laird added the words teenage and mutant, and they realized they might have something. They created their own company, Mirage Studios, and with a loan from Eastman's uncle, they published the first issue. The name Mirage is because it is a mirage that they even have a studio, and that their studio was just an apartment and a couple of desks. The comic book was a smash hit, inspiring a wave of black and white comics that changed the industry. But what truly launched the Turtles into cultural icons was the launch of the toy by Playmates and the immense success of the cartoon. The first run of the toys was designed by Mark Taylor, the same designer responsible for creating He-Man. Mark had left Mattel when he felt his designs were getting watered down. Mark Taylor created some of TMNT's most iconic characters, including Rocksteady and Bebop. The cartoon, produced by Murakami Wolf Swenson, ran for a whopping 10 seasons. It was once the longest-running cartoon until it was surpassed by The Simpsons. UK and European audiences will know the Turtles by a different name, Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles, as the word ninja was considered too violent for kids. Come on, 80s parents, lighten up. An Archie comic was created to complement the cartoon and created its own continuity, one aimed for younger audiences. A hit movie further rocketed the Turtles to cultural icons, and Turtle Mania had set in. Since the original run, the Turtles have never left the toy shelves and have had numerous incarnations in media, proving it to be one of the most enduring action figure mythologies of all time. While the story has survived and evolved over the 40-plus years since it was created, we are going to, for the most part, stick to the mythology probably most interested in, a fusion of the original cartoon and the original comic book. If you want to go even deeper, check out the YouTube channel Turtle Nexus or the TMNT Wiki. I'll put links in the description. The origins of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles begins with the influence of an earlier superhero comic, and much of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles lore can be seen as a play on the world of this particular superhero. Eastman and Laird were inspired by Frank Miller's work on the comic Daredevil and styled their dark, gritty ninja comic after Miller's run on the series. Daredevil's major enemy ninja crime syndicate, the Hand, becomes the Turtles' enemy ninja crime syndicate, the Foot. Daredevil's mentor, Stick, becomes the Turtles' mentor, Splinter. But the Turtles are not only inspired by the sightless superhero, they share his origin story. The story of Daredevil begins when a young Matt Murdock sees a man about to be hit by a truck carrying radioactive waste. He heroically pushes the man out of the way, saving his life, but the waste falls off the truck and splashes him in the eyes. The accident will leave him blind, but also give him heightened senses. In the Turtles' origin, the same toxic waste canister that struck the boy bounced off the boy's skull and crashed into a bowl containing 4 pet turtles. The pets and the mutagen fall into the sewer where the canister breaks open and spills its contents, changing the lives of 4 turtles and 1 rat. The cartoon offers a different origin. A young boy named Chester Manley drops 4 turtles into the sewer. The turtles find themselves in the New York sewer system when the mutagen splashes all over them. The radioactive waste mutates the turtles, turning them into humanoid creatures and giving them the ability to speak. They are found and raised by their father figure and mentor, Splinter, an anthropomorphic rat that is a master of ninjutsu. The turtles, fed on a steady diet of pizza, learn about the outside world from television, and Splinter trains them in the art of ninjutsu, understanding that their strange appearance will mean they will not be accepted in society. The 4 brothers emerge from their home in the sewers to battle against the evil Foot Clan and protect the city of New York from many evil threats. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a story about family. They are 4 brothers who fight and bicker and laugh and have fun together. Each one has a distinct personality. The Turtles are named after Renaissance artists. Leonardo is the leader. His main weapon is dual katanas. He is the most serious of the bunch. He was voiced by Cam Clark. In the original comic book, the Turtles all wore red bandanas. It was the cartoon that color-coded them. Leo wears blue. Raphael is the strongest and angriest of the Turtles. He wields dual sai. Sai are sword catchers, built for catching and breaking swords. He is voiced by Robert Paulson. No, not that Robert Paulson, the Robert Paulson that also played Pinky from Pinky and the Brain. Donatello is the team's tech expert. He wields a bow staff and builds the Turtles' many tech weapons and devices. He is voiced by Barry Gordon, who is the president of the Actors Guild and also voiced Bebop. Michelangelo is the most fun-loving of the bunch. He wields dual nunchaku. He is voiced by Townsend Coleman, who is also known as the voice of the Tick. Cowabunga, dudes! His name was spelled incorrectly for years. It should be Michelangelo, not Michelangelo. It was eventually corrected. He is the most pop culture obsessed of the bunch and loves comic books, and is particularly obsessed with a comic book called The Justice Force. He has an adopted cat named Clunk. A key word in the title of the series is teenage. Yes, they are turtles. Yes, they are mutants. Yes, they are ninjas, but also they are teenagers. And as teenagers, they go through the emotional turmoil of trying to find your place in the world. They can be brooding, like Raphael, who often goes off by himself, picks fights, and is full of anger. They can be goofy and unsure of themselves, like Michelangelo. They can be obsessive, like the tech-obsessed Donatello. They can question their place in the world, like Leonardo, as he struggles with the role of leader. The one that holds them together is their father figure, Splinter. Splinter is an anthropomorphic rat that is the wise and kind adopted father figure and mentor to the Turtles. The comic book origin tells us Splinter was the pet of a ninja master named Hamato Yoshi. Splinter learned martial arts by watching his master train and mimicking his moves. Hamato Yoshi was a member of the Foot Clan who moved from Japan to New York to flee after killing Oroku Nagi, the brother of the man who would become the Shredder. Yoshi and Oroku Nagi were in love with the same woman. When Yoshi found Nagi beating her, he leapt into action and killed the man. Yoshi was banished by the Foot Clan masters to America, but the Shredder followed Yoshi to New York City and killed him to avenge his brother. In other versions of the origin, Splinter is Hamato Yoshi and mutates into his rat form. In others, he is Yoshi's reincarnation. The cartoon version softens Splinter's origin, removing the murder to make the story more palatable to children. Hamato Yoshi was a member of the Foot Clan destined to become its leader, but his rival Oroku Saki, the Shredder, decides to sabotage him. He pins his clothes to the wall. When the Foot Clan master enters the room, Oshi attempts to bow but cannot. He pulls the knife out of the wall to free himself, and his masters believe he is attempting an assassination. Yoshi is banished from the Foot Clan and moves to New York City, where he is so poor he lives in the sewers and befriends rats. When the same mutagen that transforms the Turtles touches Splinter, he mutates into the last animal he was in contact with.
I, in turn, named them after my favorite Renaissance painters.
They wanted him to sound like a very learned man, and the sensei, the teacher.
The Splinter gets his name from his ability to turn wood into splinters, although it is really a play on Daredevil's mentor, Stick. The war between Master Splinter, his Turtles, and the Foot Clan is the central conflict of the story. The Foot is a multinational crime syndicate and the main antagonist in the world of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Their symbol is a left foot. The organization was not always evil and bent on world domination. It began with two men, Sato and Oshi, who trained to become powerful ninjas. The Foot Clan became a force to be reckoned with. It is revealed in a later issue of the comic book that by a bizarre coincidence, Raphael created the Foot Clan. When Raphael was sent back in time, he met two Ronin, who he trained in the art of ninjutsu. The Ronin were Sato and Oshi, the creators of the Foot Clan. After Raphael traveled back to our present day, Oshi said to Sato, "We must never again mention the strange shelled creatures. In time, others will join us, and we will become a force to be reckoned with. So just as every journey begins with a single step, we shall call ourselves the Foot," thus giving them their name. The Foot Clan was not always evil. It was when the New York faction of the Foot Clan was taken over by a young ninja named Oroku Saki, aka the Shredder, that it turned into a power-hungry evil organization bent on destruction. Foot Clan members are obedient and skilled warriors. In the cartoon, the Foot Ninjas are replaced with robotic foot soldiers. This allowed for the Turtles to destroy legions of foot soldiers while not making the show too violent. The Foot Clan utilizes ancient mysticism along with modern technology to engage in all kinds of criminal acts all around the world. Their leader is the Shredder. The Shredder is a powerful ninja warrior who covers his body with razor-sharp blades. Laird and Eastman got their inspiration for the Shredder by a cheese grater. After Oroku Saki pursues his brother's killer to New York and has him killed, the Shredder takes over the New York Syndicate and grows the Foot in power. In the comic book, Splinter trains the Turtles and sends them out with the purpose of avenging his master. The Shredder is killed at the end of the first volume of the comic. When he is about to be defeated, he unleashes a thermite grenade in order to kill himself and his enemies. Donatello knocks him off the roof, and the Shredder explodes, thus ending his reign. Well, not really. Eastman and Laird never intended for this to go on, never intended for the story to continue. And after its massive success, they realized they needed their antagonist back. Foot Clan mystics use a technique where they feed the Shredder's remains to worms. The worms regenerate his body. Shredder returns and drives the Turtles out of New York City, even burning down April O'Neil's apartment. The Turtles come back and defeat him again, this time taking his head. Although this ends his reign in the original comic, the Shredder returns in many incarnations throughout the years. As Super Shredder, as a female Shredder, as a half-man, half-shark Shredder. In the cartoon, the Shredder never dies. The cartoon version of the Shredder is a much more comical and less sinister version of the Foot Clan leader.
Tonight I dine on turtle soup.
I'm Shredder.
The Shredder multiplies his power when he allies with an evil alien who gives the Foot Clan access to powerful technology. Krang is an evil alien from Dimension X. He was once a brutal warlord and dictator. Krang was stripped of his body and trapped in a weak, brain-like form and exiled to our dimension. Here he met the Shredder, and in exchange for his technology, Shredder built Krang a powerful new body. It is Krang that provided the mutagen that created the Turtles. We find out later that the Shredder spilled the mutagen into the sewer in an attempt to destroy Splinter. Krang used that same mutagen to mutate rocks into armies of rock soldiers, such as his general, Trag. Krang was voiced by Pat Fraley, who also voiced Baxter Stockman and Casey Jones.
Of course it is. It's all I've got.
Underneath, secretly, I was playing a Jewish mother with Krang.
This is what I get. I shouldn't expect anything else.
Krang did not exist in the original comic, but a similar creature was an essential part of the comic book storyline. The Utroms, aka Techno-Cosmic Research Institute aliens, are a race of small creatures that look like tentacle brains. They are the beings responsible for creating and losing the mutagen that created the Turtles. Unlike Krang, the Utroms of the comic book are not evil. Krang is a recurring villain in the cartoon. Krang's android body is equipped with a molecular amplification unit, allowing him to become giant. He can also equip his body with a variety of weapons, but Krang's greatest achievement is the creation of the Technodrome. The Technodrome is a moving fortress full of alien technology. At its center is a portal that can allow for interdimensional travel. The Technodrome can move underground, underwater, or even in outer space. It often is in a state of not functioning, and the threat of a fully functional Technodrome would be a threat to the safety of the entire world. The toy Technodrome playset boasts a brain scrambler, a mutagen bed, cannons, a jail, an escape hatch, and a massive eyeball that can roll off like a boulder and destroy the enemy. The Foot Clan has many operatives to pit against the Turtles. Two of the most iconic are Rocksteady and Bebop. They originally were gang members recruited by Shredder to attempt to intimidate April O'Neil. The Shredder offers the gang members power that will allow them to defeat the Turtles and get them revenge for their humiliation. They agree, and Shredder brings in a rhino and a warthog and uses the same mutagen that created the Turtles to transform them. Rocksteady and Bebop are incredibly strong but have limited intelligence. The Foot Clan employs many other warriors. There are the Foot Clan Mystics, or the Heralds of Shredder, who use esoteric powers to manipulate the world through magic. The Foot Elite Guards are the Shredder's personal guards. The Foot Clan of the comic book is constantly undergoing internal conflict, as with the death of the Shredder, the clan is constantly changing leadership. One of these leaders is Karai. Karai brokers a peace agreement with the Turtles to gain control of the Foot Clan and defeat Shredder's elite guard. At one point, she even dons the costume of the Shredder to trick the elite guard into committing seppuku. Only one of them falls for it. Karai is a major character in many incarnations of the Turtles, and sometimes even a romantic interest of Leonardo. The Allies. The Turtles have many allies in their battle against the Foot Clan, but their most important ally and friend is the intrepid reporter April O'Neil. April has had many different looks throughout the years, but perhaps she is most iconically recognizable as a young woman with brunette hair wearing a yellow jumpsuit. She is a determined, courageous reporter, not afraid to go undercover or put herself in harm's way. The comic book April O'Neil was not a reporter, but instead a computer programmer and software engineer who worked for a corrupt scientist named Baxter Stockman. Stockman created an army of Mouser robots designed to kill the rats in New York City, but when April uncovered Stockman's true plan, he wanted to use his Mousers to steal and plunder the city. She fled into the sewers where she met the Turtles. Joining the Turtles and saving the city from the Mouser attack, April becomes their most trusted ally. It was the cartoon that turned April into a news reporter. Working for Channel 6 News, April was investigating a series of ninja-related crimes where high-tech components had gone missing. A gang of punks were sent to kill her, and she fled into the sewer system where she was rescued by the Turtles. While she at first blamed them for the recent ninja crimes, they proved her wrong and she became their conduit to the outside world, as their bizarre appearance makes it impossible for them to operate in the world without human help. April was voiced by Renee Jacobs. Her boss at Channel 6 is Bern Thompson, who is convinced the Turtles are a menace and campaigns against them. April's role as the Turtles' secret ally allows her to get scoops and live footage of the Turtles in action. Working at Channel 6 is full of drama. She has to contend with Vernon Fenwick, a rival reporter who often tries to steal her stories, and she works there with her best friend Bern's secretary, Irma. April has had many forms throughout the cartoon and comic book and has a habit of getting mutated, but she always makes her way back to being human. Casey Jones. Casey Jones is one of the Turtles' most significant allies. He is a rage-filled teenager who dons a hockey mask and patrols the streets of New York with a golf bag full of sports equipment weapons strapped to his back. He was originally conceived as a kid who watched too many cop shows and decided to go vigilante. However, Eastman and Laird added a tragic backstory to give us empathy for him. A gang called the Purple Dragons, led by a young punk called the Hun, kills Casey's father, burns down the family business, and kidnaps Casey's mother and sister. Casey attacks Hun, stabbing him in the neck, but Hun beats Casey within an inch of his life. The beating will cause Casey lifelong mental and emotional problems. Later in life, Casey dons the hockey mask and gets vengeance against the scum and criminals of New York, but his anger often overtakes him. It is in one of these moments where he meets Raphael. Raphael sees Casey beating a group of criminals, but Casey is going too far. Raph is afraid he'll kill them. He steps in and stops Casey, and thus begins their tumultuous friendship. The two get along because they're both full of rage. Casey eventually becomes a love interest for April O'Neil, and his anger occasionally drives a wedge between them. His battle cry is Goongala! The phrase originated from an old Tarzan movie. According to Kevin Eastman, Goongala, Goongala is something Tarzan said to command the animals. The cartoon version of Casey amps up the idea of him being obsessed and warped by too many cop movies. He is obsessed with a movie series called Filthy Harry. Comic book Casey and April O'Neil eventually fall in love, and in some iterations even get married and have children. In addition to the Foot Clan, the Turtles have many other enemies. The Purple Dragons are a street gang made up of thugs that terrorize the east side of Manhattan. They are tattooed with a purple dragon. Their leader, the Hun, is the man responsible for killing Casey Jones' family. The Purple Dragons often ally with the Foot Clan. The Rat King. The Rat King is an insane man who believes rats should take over the world. Baxter Stockman is a bad scientist that continuously plays the Turtles. The cartoon version of Baxter Stockman, just like Jeff Goldblum, and becomes a human fly. There's even an evil turtle, Slash, sometimes known as the Fifth Turtle. The evil Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle originated as Bebop's pet turtle. When Rocksteady decided he did not want to do the chores assigned to him by Shredder, he mutated Bebop's pet turtle to do the work for him. Slash is a powerful warrior with incredible strength and skill, capable of taking on all the turtles at once. His main motivation is his Binky, a little plastic tree that accompanied him when he was still a pet, and he longs for it in his new life as a mutated warrior. In his alternate iteration, Slash was introduced in the Archie comic series as a warrior from Dimension X who is the last of his species. He eventually teams with the Turtles and dies, sacrificing himself. The Turtles memorialize him as the fifth Turtle, but Slash seems to find his way back in every iteration of the Turtles. The 2003 series introduced Agent John Bishop, who works for the Earth Protection Force, or an organization that exists to protect Earth from invaders. He captured the Turtles and almost dissected them in an attempt to discover the secrets of their mutation. He remains an enemy and occasionally an ally in the many versions of the story. There are many more villains and allies, like the mutated alligator Leatherhead or the Triceraton, a race of alien Triceratops, or Pizza Face, a mutated pizza that was deemed too disgusting to make it into the original cartoon, but has since become a part of the lore. The end of the story. Although the Turtles' story has not ended and shows no sign of ending, the two major timelines both ended. Their cartoon finally wound down after adopting a darker tone to match other cartoons of the era like Batman animated series and X-Men. These last few years are known as the Red Sky era. The Red Sky era takes its name for the perpetual dark red sky seen in the background of many of the shots. In these final few years of the cartoon, the Turtles finally destroy the Technodrome and banish their enemies, the Shredder and Krang, into Dimension X. However, a new threat emerges, Lord Dreg, an alien warlord who convinces the people of New York that he is their savior and will help them with his powerful alien technology. That is, until the Turtles expose him as a fraud. Dreg commands his army, the Techno Gang, a legion of bug alien warriors. In the final episode of the series, he creates a suit called the Morphogenesis Exoskeleton, where he absorbs the bodies of 5 alien warriors and sets out to destroy the Turtles. After defeating Lord Dreg, Splinter tells the Turtles they have reached a level of mastery, and they have become his equal as ninja warriors. Thus ended the 1987 series, while the Mirage Studios comic book fast forwards to a time where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are no longer teenagers and live among human beings. After the Utroms land on Earth and announce their presence to the world, human beings have become used to strange creatures walking among them, and the Turtles no longer need to hide. April and Casey are married, and Master Splinter is raising Casey Jones' adopted daughter, Shadow. The Mirage series ended half-finished. However, an alternate, far more bleak ending to the Turtles' story has been created in The Last Ronin. The Last Ronin is not the official story, but instead an alternate Dark Knight Returns style vision of the future that has become one of the most popular stories in the TMNT world. The Last Ronin finds Michelangelo roaming the earth as the last surviving turtle. He carries with him the weapons of his dead brothers in a mission of vengeance, vowing to wipe out the remaining members of the Foot Clan. While all of these endings matter, the story goes on. This is the mythology of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Subscribe for more action figure lore, and if you've ever wondered how Castle Grayskull was created, check out my video on the mythology of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.